Mohsin Hamid's The Last White Man, Summary and Analysis of Chapter 2. Summary of Chapter 2. Anders called his girlfriend Una. Una was meditating and she didn't want to be disturbed by his call. However, she packed the call up. Anders went on and on explaining his distressing story. But Una didn't give 1 second attention to his miserable story. Moreover, Una had no serious relationship with Anders. All she wanted was just time pass with him, for she was in debt and wanted to go through her financial crisis with Anders' aid. Una rode on a bicycle to meet Anders. She was moving from the more prosperous to the poorer part of town. Anders lived in a small room-like house. She knocked at the door but couldn't wait for his permission. When she saw Anders, she got aback. Anders got not only unusual brown color but size and shape. However, she recognized him when he spoke. Una flattened out her emotion by telling him that he was entirely different man, not only to her but to anybody. Anders was struggling with his emotions. There was dry cloud in his smile. He asked Una to have sex, but she was wearily and in hesitation. They were acting as if both were stalking each other. They had sex in that way. That was a jarring intimacy between pale-skinned Una and dark-skinned Anders. All of a sudden, in the middle of the night, Una left Anders and rode on her bicycle back to her house. She substituted old posters and stickers with the posters of plants and new photographs. In the morning, Una tried her best to forget the miserable night story but couldn't stop overcoming it. She indulged herself in meditation to remedy the intruding nightmare. However, later, after eating fruits, her mother told her that people all over the world were changing, and she knew it from a line. That shocked Una, for her mother was a fantasist but an optimistic one. That time she turned out to be a pessimist one. However, Una didn't want to argue, nor did she want to engage in that discussion. At the end, her mother told her she was so beautiful, she should have got a gun. Analysis of Chapter 2. Hey Anders, what's going on? People's perception about you are changed now. Everything is miserable going around you. You are brown, therefore everything is miserable, or everything is miserable, therefore you are brown. The language around your brown skin is crafted in such a way as to show negative side of your life. Now, we gotta know that you are living in the poorer part of town. Your girlfriend Una hesitates to have wholehearted intimacy with you. Despite the fact that Una has pale skin, yet she berates your brown skin. I mean, you both are persons of color. Whatsoever, let's see. This chapter is an entry to the heart of racial discrimination based on color. With transformation of Anders' skin color, the descriptive narrative about him changes. The focus of the language is now on spotlighting advantaged and disadvantaged groups. Anders belongs to disenfranchised society. He will be considered as bad and uncivilized. Therefore, Una's mother tells her that since she is beautiful, therefore she should get a gun. According to her mother, people are changed now. Of course, her mother doesn't know about Anders, but her arrow shot in air marks the center of Una's stifled feeling about Anders' skin. The point is, why would her mother say so? Her general philosophy about change in people is directed towards selfish and careless people. But Una redirects that general philosophy towards specific target. The target is undoubtedly brown Anders. This draws our attention towards the threatening tendency of brown-skinned men. Una seems to be subscribed to her mother's generalization. Finally, according to Mohsin Hamid, in his conversation with Dinzi Sena, the novel is about loss, particularly one's racial loss. Now, we as the readers must not cling to the author's interpretation, because we are postmodern readers, which means we are co-creator of a book. We will look forward whether or not Anders accept his loss, his brown color, his new identity, and how do people treat him during his color-based racial anxiety. All these interpretations can further be explored from the perspective of post-colonialism.